Denny Hamlin can just not be stopped right now. For the second consecutive race, he has to start in the back of the field and ends up going from basically last to first place to get his third win of the season. He ties Kyle Busch for 9th on the all-time wins list with 63 wins. This race had a lot of attrition, kind of like last week at Nashville, but Hamlin just has these next-gen cars figured out. Welcome back to Maine Motorsports. I am Jake, and let's go over the race at Michigan. Denny Hamlin did win the pole for this race. However, he had to start in the back of the field for unapproved adjustments. For the first two stages, he couldn't really even crack the top 20. That car really struggled in dirty air, but due to attrition, a lot of cautions. I believe this Michigan race had more cautions than any Michigan race in history. Hamlin worked his way through the field, had some good pit stops. Once he got some clean air, that car was fast. We knew his car was fast. He won the pole in qualifying. He takes Carson Hocevar and Daniel Suarez, Spire teammates, 3 wide with about 35, 40 laps to go. He gets the lead right here, does not look back, gaps second place by over 10 seconds to win another race in 2026. And he honored Kyle Busch since he just tied him in wins, waving that 18-8 Kyle Busch flag. Emotional victory for sure. And one thing I noticed is there were a lot of cheers. Denny Hamlin, from being arguably the most hated driver in NASCAR less than a decade ago, is now the sentimental favorite. After all the stuff that happened in the offseason with Denny Hamlin, the way he lost that championship last year, losing his father, all the great NASCAR legends we've lost in the last year, Greg Biffle, Michael Annett, we just lost Ned Jarrett this week, and Kyle Busch. People really are beginning to respect Denny Hamlin, and the fact that he's still getting older, oldest driver in the Cup Series, and this is like the best version of Denny Hamlin we've ever seen. He's so good with this next-gen car, and just he hasn't lost his edge. He really has gotten better as years have gone on. And I believe he has one more year scheduled. 2027 is supposed to be his last year, I think, but if he keeps winning races, I mean, like, he has to get this championship, man. We have a lot to go over today. Michigan did not disappoint. A lot of attrition. A couple really hard crashes, too. We'll get to that. Let's just start by going over some of the results from this race. Denny Hamlin, another victory in 2026. All the Toyotas, once again, were fast, but in this race, a lot of those said Toyotas were taken out in crashes. Erik Jones, man, second place. He's been doing really good the last month. 3-time Cup Series race winner. We know he has the talent. Legacy Motor Club's not really up there yet with Joe Gibbs or 2311, but Erik Jones at his home track showed a lot of promise, ran top 10 all day. A very good race for Erik Jones. Good job, Erik. Good job. And Bubba Wallace, a very nice run in third place. He needed this race. Bubba's been good at Michigan in the next-gen car, usually has really good speed. He's had a terrible last handful of weeks, fell all the way down to 15th in points. This will stop the bleeding for sure. A good points day. Kyle Larson up front for a little bit. He was back to like 12th on that final run, but that long run speed the 5 had was pretty good. Regardless of how good his long run speed was, though, that 11 car was in a different zip code. Literally won by over 10 seconds. You don't see margins of victory that big with this next-gen car. So that was one of the biggest margins of victory for sure. And to round out the top 5, Carson Hocevar. He is so entertaining. I know he made that little mistake on the restart when he got into the back of John Hunter and made a really big mess on the front straightaway. I'll get to that crash in a little bit. You could argue Kyle Larson also didn't really get out of the zone very well. But he had that incident. He had this incredible save, man. I thought he was going in the wall right here. Saved the car. He hit the wall later again. He's just all over the place. And a 5th place result is very good for Carson Hocevar. He ran really good in the trucks, too. Say what you want, but my eyes are always glued to that 77 car because he is just so fast. A little bit chaotic. He needs to calm down. It's like a little like puppy. You throw a ball and the puppy gets so excited he only focuses on the ball. Goes all out for the ball. Carson Hocevar's like that when he sees a passing opportunity. He just goes all out, kind of doesn't care about what happens around him. Not his worst race by any means, but great 5th place. Still a lot of speed out of that car. The 7, Daniel Suarez, a bunch of stage points, led a few laps in this race too. Once again, proving Trackhouse wrong, showing that Trackhouse made a mistake letting him go. Now he's up to 9th in points. He's just getting that buffer bigger and bigger and bigger over that Chase bubble. I think he's like, got to be at least 80 points above that cut line now, right? A pair of Penske teammates in 7th and 8th, Joey Logano and Blaney. Ford was really off this week. The highest qualifying Ford was like 14th. That was pretty shocking. And these guys weren't really even in the top 10. A lot of attrition came into play with these big crashes I'll get to soon. But they kept their cars in one piece. Not bad days. Made something out of a not good day for both of those guys. Chris Buescher, a top 10. He was fast. Good for Chris Buescher. Chase Briscoe rounds out your top 10. I didn't see much of Chase Briscoe in this race at all. I really kind of forgot he was in this race. He was like running towards the back. But again, because of all the attrition, he was able to prevail and get a 10th place finish. There were a lot of people who had issues in this race. I'll start with Connor Zilic. Dead last, didn't even complete like 10 laps in this race. He spun out on lap 2 by himself, hit the wall, got back out there, a few laps later, spins out in dead last by himself again. Back-to-back, I think last place finishes for Connor Zilic in that Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet. Wow. He's young. He's learning. But I'm sick of this happening every single time where we have like a generational prospect in the lower series. It's happened to so many people. So many past prospects that came up through the ranks. The second you put them in a cup car, nothing for those first couple of years. Like not even close. It's not the 2000s or late 90s you'd have these young drivers come up and just start winning right away, competing with the big guns. I get that Trackhouse is off. I get the Cup Series car is not the same as the O'Reilly Series car. But you got to calm down, Zilic. You're learning. I understand that. 34th in points, though, is completely not on my bingo card, though. It is what it is, though. We had this wreck on a restart. Carson Hocevar tried taking John Hunter 3 wide. Just clipped him, causes a multi-car pileup. And guess who's in it? Tyler Reddick. The king has been dethroned for a singular race weekend. The wreck was not his fault. He actually did win the first stage. Reddick was flying in this race. On this wreck, it just looked like Kyle Larson missed a shift for a split second, stacked up the inside just a little bit, gave Carson the opportunity to make a 3-wide move, didn't anticipate the stack up being so extreme. He went for it, clipped the 42 into like 3 other cars. The 45 was the last car in that chain. Hits the inside wall. Austin Dillon plows into him. Hard crash. Multiple cars involved. Ty Gibbs had a good day going too. Involved in this one as well. But Tyler Reddick, man, had a near 100-point lead over Denny Hamlin. Now it's down to just about 50 because Reddick, a bad finish versus Denny Hamlin who won the race and, yeah. The first actual bad race for Tyler Reddick, though. I said last week how when he got wrecked coming across the line at Nashville when he still finished 6th was the worst thing that's happened to Tyler Reddick all season. This is the new, this takes the cake now. Still a good points cushion. I'm sure he'll be fine, but man, something finally went wrong for that team. This wreck, too, was violent. I wasn't even paying attention to this crash because I was focused on the 3 wide behind these two guys. Chase Elliott and Christopher Bell. Oh my gosh, dude. That is one of the hardest hits I've seen with a next-gen car. Arguably even the hardest hit. Bell got thrown into the wall. Chase Elliott got loose. And these next-gen cars, they will snap. If you try to, save it just a little too much, the wheel will hook, and bam. It looked like Elliott just went straight up the racetrack. Chase Elliott won the second stage. Bell was up front, too. The Toyotas were really fast. Very concerning, and I was nervous because that was a really, really bad hit. The window from the side of the 20 flew out and hit the top of Kyle Larson's car. That's always dangerous when debris goes flying like that. Thank goodness those two are okay. Luckily, they have some stage points to bank off of, but I was really concerned there for a little bit. That was one of the hardest hits I've seen in this car. And luckily, they both walked away. I know Bell requested not to speak with any media personnel after the race. I mean, I wouldn't too. Not a good season for Bell. Has the speed, has the talent. Nothing's going his way, and he was on track for another top 3. Wiped out in an instant. And right after that, one more big pileup, multiple cars. This wreck wasn't as severe because there was a lot of guys running like 15th on back. McDowell, Ryan, Parise involved, Stenhouse. Dale Jr. made a point. Like, this is a new championship format. The win and you're in is over. People, for the first part of the season, were really taking care of their equipment better. Not as many of these races with like endurance and attrition. These last few weeks, especially on the Amazon Prime races, there has been a lot of attrition. A lot of guys just taking more risks. And a lot of guys are in bigger points holes now because of it. Wild stuff. This race broke the record for the most cautions in a Michigan Cup Series race ever. Michigan surprisingly works well with this next-gen car. Decent amount of passing. Tires did wear. We saw some tire strategy, 2 tires, 4, and the guys on 4 usually always would end up prevailing. Thing is, those first like 20, 25 laps on a run, though, you can't really do anything. Like, it's all air blocking. Like, once the tires start wearing, then you can like make some natural moves, but it takes a while to get there. Tires still wear pretty slowly. I was still entertained. I like when the cars go over 200 miles an hour unrestricted. I really hope that next year they consider making the short track package the every week package, because I guarantee the racing will be that much better. But I digress. It's just remarkable to see that he just won't stop winning. I think there is a new fire lit under Denny Hamlin because of all the things he had to go through in the last year. Championship, lawsuit, losing his dad, Kyle Busch dying has affected everyone in the NASCAR garage. And Denny Hamlin was teammates with Kyle Busch for what? 15 years? Pretty sure they were close. If this race really told us anything, Toyota is simply going to be the team to beat. Despite a lot of their cars like Reddick and Gibbs and Bell all getting taken out in wrecks that weren't even their fault really, they still come home with a 1-2-3 finish with 3 different organizations. Joe Gibbs, Legacy Motor Club, and 2311 Racing. Chevy's not bad either, but they still have some work to do. Elliott, I think, could have had a chance to win this race. He was pretty fast, probably the fastest Chevrolet. Hocevar was probably the fastest Chevrolet, but he kept getting into holes. Slower pit stops, a couple incidents, but besides that, the other 200 cars, for example, finished, 18th and 19th on speed. Byron fell way back. Bowman didn't really do much in this race. A lot of attrition, a lot of carnage, but I have no issue with Denny Hamlin winning races. I want him to get this championship so bad. I think a lot of us do at this point. Just to say that he's a Cup Series champion, I still see comments like saying, like, yeah, he still has 0 championships. I mean, honestly, I would take having a 63-win career and no championship versus like a 40-win career and a singular championship. That's just me, though, because in the newer era of NASCAR, not so much this year as like years past, race wins seem to mean more than a championship, because the championship can be like won by accident, can be won or lost by accident. But now with this chase system, we'll see. But if you're like in those top 5 or 6 spots going into the chase, you'll have a legit chance of winning the championship. Truck Series. Trucks are always really fun at Michigan. It's kind of like a little mini pack race. Like 4 or 5 guys under a blanket competing for the win. And once again, it was Corey Heim. But I have no issue with Corey Heim. He's going to be driving that 35 car in the Cup Series next year. To Riley Herbst's credit, he did run pretty good in this race. He was in the top 10, even top 5 for a little bit. But, like, it's going to be Corey Heim. I think Corey Heim's, like, beyond Cup ready. But I just really hope that once he gets a full-time Cup ride next year, it's not going to be the same as, like, a Zilich. Like, he's going to be running, like, 30th every single week. I think Corey Heim will fare off better. The trucks are very similar to how the Cup Series cars run compared to how the O'Reilly Series cars compare to the Cup Series cars. We shall see. But again, he wins, beats his teammate, Caden Honeycutt. Good job for him. 3rd win of the season for Corey Heim. Formula 1. I want to mention Formula 1 because what was that race, man? I'm still learning. All these pit road... People get penalized for, like, the smallest things. They have like no, like, you can't even like race each other. There's all these penalties on pit road, avoidable contact penalties, 5-second penalties for this and that. Why? Everything just seems so harsh. Again, NASCAR is the chaotic one. Formula 1 is the strict one. IndyCar is a perfect medium. Poor Max Verstappen, dude. I'm really starting to feel for him. On the start, good qualifying effort. Bam. The car just doesn't go. And again, people keep blaming these new regulations. I need someone to fill me in. Because I know they have the hybrid system, I guess it is. And you got to like save energy to like get a boost. Something like that. Monaco usually is Memorial Day weekend. They swapped it this year. I think it's a good call. Monaco has not been good for years in Formula One. It's just the cars have outgrown the track. Kimi Antonelli wins his 5th straight race. Wow, uncontested. Mercedes is on fire. They can't be stopped. Hey, Hamilton got a 2nd place, though. That's good. Podium spot for Hamilton. Because Charles Leclerc hit the wall going for a podium spot. Charles Leclerc's one of my favorite Formula One drivers. I like him. Again, red car. Charles Leclerc. Nice little name there. It's funny. 3rd place, ruined. And Isaac Hadjar finished in 3rd after a lot of issues. I didn't watch the race live. They're always at weird times, so it's tough to watch those races live. I watch those little small recap like videos, 8 minutes long. You can like watch the 8-minute highlights and you get like everything out of just 8 minutes because Monaco, like nothing really happens. I did watch IndyCar last night though. I was really pulling for Marcus Ericsson. After like 3 or 4 rain delays, I was up to like 12th. It actually fell asleep before the race ended. I had to watch it on YouTube this morning because I just couldn't like stay up. I was so tired. Marcus Ericsson came up just 1 spot short on Joseph Newgarden, the Oval King. Just when you think Joseph Newgarden's out of it, he wraps his way back into it. I'm upset because David Malukas also had a pretty good race going, but although weirdly timed cautions and rain delays put him back in traffic, unfortunately. Things happen, though. I will point this out, though. I did make a solid amount of money this week. Knicks game 1, money line, little parlay action. I got $130. I'll take it. And then I actually made a bet for this Cup Series race. I had Hocevar and Eric Jones top 10 with Denny Hamlin top 3. And yeah, it hit $144 off a $10 bet. I'm on fire this week, baby. Hell yeah. I was speaking of Denny Hamlin before I wrap this up. He did spin in that big crash with Reddick and Gibbs and Austin Dillon. I was like praying he didn't get hit, and he didn't. Kept his car in one piece, drove away. Denny Hamlin's had a handful of races that like he spun out and come back to win. That's impressive. But yeah, fun little weekend of racing. I like Michigan. It's a really fun track. And next week, usually I go to Pocono. I can't this year. I have a conflict. But Pocono is one of my favorite tracks. I'm biased towards Pocono because, you know, it's Pocono, my local track. I've been to Pocono like 9 times to watch a race. So I am very excited for that. I know last year there was a lot of like fuel saving going on that I wasn't a big fan of, but we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, that basically wraps up Michigan. Denny Hamlin, another win. Will he finally win his first championship? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am Jake. You are watching Maine Motorsports, and please have a beautiful and safe day. Peace.